And so, a small update on the state of my ability to play games. Decisions have been made, financial ruin is inbound, but come December, I will be upgrading to an RTX 5080. Now, I didn't want a 5080, I was going to go for like a 4080 Super. However, 4080 Supers are worth roughly what people are charging for 5080s these days, and I'll take the faster RTX ray tracing performance over a card that uses more power and might not melt. I don't know. The RTX 5080 is not the card I want. And I really wanted to avoid any card using the new high-power 12-volt ATX, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days, cable. And doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. So, hopefully I don't catch fire? I don't know. But the other update is my sister's computer is actually going ahead. I won an eBay auction for the perfect white power supply with braided white cables last night, and she'll be paying me for the rest of the parts in about 2 weeks. So this is what I'm chipping in. I'm chipping in a really expensive power supply, and she'll pay for the rest. And if she doesn't, then I'm going to have a really expensive power supply and nothing to do with it. And before you say, just use that power supply in your own gaming rig if your sister doesn't need it, it wouldn't be an upgrade. I already have braided white cables. I have a 1200 watt power supply. It would be completely unnecessary. That being said, it would be nice to have an ATX 3.0 compatible power supply for the sake of the 12 volt high power cable. But the thing about that is, even if you have an ATX 3.0 power supply, even if it has perfect like load balancing on all 6 of those 12 volt pins, it's still going to be at risk of burning down at some point, because that is just the flaw of that connector. It doesn't matter how many revisions you make, that connector is a fire hazard. And unless you load balance the connector on the graphics card, there is no way to avoid it eventually failing on one of the pins and trying to spread the load to the other 5, which is how these failures start. So the only real way to avoid a modern graphics card melting is to either get a low-end one, like a 5060 Ti or a 5070, or go AMD or Nvidia. Not Nvidia. I meant Intel. Because it's usually just AMD and Nvidia, right? Intel's a new player. I'm not used to saying their name in GPU-related things. But yeah, we shouldn't have moved away from the regular 8-pin PCIe cable so soon. We weren't ready. We still aren't.